Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another VGJFelix channel video, and this video is a Q&A video. In the previous video I asked you to give me some of your questions and to provide you answers about the channel, myself and anything else you wanted to know in particular. And of course I had plenty of questions. Thank you very much to everyone who has sent one in, and of course the big prize at the end of this was the best question would win one of these Android plushies, so you will find out who wins by the end of the video. So let's get to the questions. I've actually prepared myself for this. I've even printed out the questions so that I can move through them and answer them as well as possible. I'm not going to try and go into too much detail because there's quite a lot of questions, so let's move straight on to the first question. And I'll apologise in advance if I mispronounce anyone's names, but you're using YouTube usernames and foreign names, so I do apologise. The first person who sent in a question was Karolek, who I believe has been following my channel for quite a while. She asked, what basic equipment would you recommend for recording or making videos on YouTube? I like to know the brand name, specifications, etc. Assume I have nothing else except for a computer with Windows 7. Well, thank you for the question, Carol. I'm afraid I'm going to kind of dodge the question a little bit and say, what do you want to make the videos for? Is it for review tutorial tech reviews like I do, or is it for making videos outside? It's really a question that you need to answer yourself. If I give you an example, I'm using a Panasonic SD90, which is a very good camera for just almost point and click. It does a lot of things automatically. It has excellent autofocus, which you'll probably see that I use a lot on the videos, and it just seems to do the job very quickly. It's quite expensive. I believe it cost me about £250 a year ago, so it might be slightly cheaper and it might be difficult to find, but that's a camera I use. However, if you're just wanting to use a camera for general videos without going into too much fancy editing and close-up shots and those type of things, any mobile phone is quite decent these days. And I believe you said in previous comments that you have a Samsung Galaxy S4, so that very well may do the job. In terms of editing, well, I'm a bit of a caveman when it comes to editing. I use Windows Movie Maker, which means that it comes with the computer and is free to use. I use 2.6, but with Windows 7 you get the more up-to-date version, which I consider to not be as comprehensive as the older version, but that will very quickly get you to be able to drag videos into the program, splice them, clip them and so on, and it's quite an easy program to use, but obviously with any new program there is a learning curve. So those are the really only general tips I can give you, but you need to consider what sort of videos you want to make. But the equipment really you should already have, having a computer and a very decent phone in a Galaxy S4. The next one comes from Mike Coningilo. I do apologise if I pronounced that wrong. Simple question here, what do you do for a living? Well, I would love to say that I do this full-time professionally, but of course it doesn't pay that well. I actually work in the technology industry, but it has nothing to do with tablets or anything like that. I work for a company called Tribal, which you almost certainly won't have heard of, and I am actually a software tester, which may kind of lead you towards how my reviews are. I'm obviously very analytical and like to pick out the unique things and maybe the things that other people would miss, so that's probably where my reviewing skills partially come from. And basically we make software for educational higher institution universities, so it's a program that unless you worked in a university you would have never seen it before, so it's very niche, but I suppose a very profitable area to work in, and that's the reason why I was in Australia, because I was away working on a project in Sydney for 6 weeks. So obviously the work does give me the opportunity to travel, which is excellent. So in terms of doing this professionally, I would love to do this professionally, but at the moment it's still just an amateur thing. And just to give you a bit of background on how much time I spend on this thing, I probably spend a good 2 to 3 hours at least a night when I have the time, so I'm spending 20 to 25 hours at least on trying to improve my channel, and I'd love to give more time to it, but unfortunately work does get in the way sometimes. The next question is from John Lee, and it's a question that I've really answered already. What editing software do you use? And I use Windows Movie Maker 2.6, and the reason I use that is because it was the first program I started using. I got very accustomed to it very quickly, and I just like the drag drop, click drag capacity of it. There's not really that much you have to learn. It's very intuitive, but of course that means it's very limited. Some things I would like to do in videos is picture in picture, detach my voice from the actual shot and then bring in another shot, which you can't do very well in Windows Movie Maker. But so far for my needs it's actually done very well. But I am looking into other editing software. The problem is, and somebody did suggest one in particular, is I kind of have a production line. I can do a video, edit it and upload it fairly quickly within a couple of hours, but in order to then use a completely different editing program, it's almost like the production line stops and I'd have to relearn how to do things. And I like to have as much content as possible, so it's almost like I'll have to stack up some products, some videos, before I can then move on to an editing program and use it. But I think eventually I'm going to have to bite the bullet and try another piece of software and hopefully improve the videos that way. The next question comes from Oliver Uten. Which team do you support? There's your answer, Huddersfield Town. If you don't live in the UK, you probably will have never heard of this football team. However, some interesting facts about the football team. We were the first team to ever win the league 3 times in a row. That's what you would say the equivalent of the Premier League, but that was back in the 1920s. Bill Shankly managed the team before he went to Liverpool, and Dennis Law played for the team as well before he went to Manchester United. So Huddersfield Town currently in the Championship, and I think we're going to have a bit of a struggle this season, but hopefully we will stay up. Next question comes from Jonas Neravar. I'm going to miss that middle bit of the username out. He asks, what computer do you use to edit? Well, this is a computer right here, and it is nothing special. It is just a Medion laptop that I got 2.5 years ago, so it's not the most recent laptop at all in any way, shape or form. It's an i5, 4GB RAM, 600 gigs of hard disk, no SSD or anything like that. I am considering upgrading, but it does a fairly decent job. It can output videos of 720p in about 5 minutes. It's actually a minute ratio really. If I have a 5-minute video, it takes 5 minutes to render it. So it's actually a very good laptop, and it has been for a while. But I don't know. I get a bit itchy after 3 years, and I like to upgrade. I've been thinking about basically the PC equivalent of a MacBook Retina computer. If anyone can point me in any directions, please do. But again, I don't want to spend that much on one. The next question is a deeper, meaningful one from Duarte Chen, who asks, why do you like to make videos for us? And a simple answer to that is passion and audience. I've never had a passion like this pretty much in my life before, where I've enjoyed to do something so much, and pretty much the whole aspect of the video making, from the first synapses of the idea firing off into my head to the final uploading of a video. And the second reason is the audience. I've done a lot of creative things in the past. I did a lot of creative writing previously, but I never felt as if I had an audience, so I never had feedback or actually knew if anybody was looking at my work. But with the 6 million views that I've had and the thousands of likes and comments and subscribers, I know that I'm doing something right, and it gives me such a buzz to see those new comments every day and to basically engage with you. And I suppose the one thing I haven't done in the past is directly engage with you as I am doing now. So that's the simple answer. The longer answer is just watch the videos. I mean, I can't stop myself. It is an obsession, I must admit. And I don't get paid any money to do this, or a very little amount. So yeah, I love making the videos because I like to teach people things. The best videos are when I get a comment from somebody saying, thanks, I didn't know this, or I never even knew I could do this. And it's that sort of light bulb moment where you've helped somebody find out something, and it's really satisfying. And I'll continue to do it. Obviously, I'm putting more and more work in. As you can see, I'm trying to improve the channel with this new branding artwork and everything. So yeah, I just absolutely love it. The next question comes from Mohammed Murtaz, who asks, who inspired you to start making these videos? Well, the answer is me. I didn't really have any inspiration. I think a very long while ago I made a video about reviewing it was called a Creative Vado pocket camera. It's probably still on my channel. It's the first video I think I ever did, and the first time I created a YouTube channel. I think that's about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and I really enjoyed making it, but I never thought anything about it. Then I made a couple more sort of mashup videos, videos about poker, and something about a football incident that happened here. A few months after that, it went semi-viral and it got a good 100,000 views, and I thought, oh, so there is an audience on YouTube if you make content that captures people. And then I got a Galaxy S2. I played a bit with a couple of videos there, but then I really thought, when I got the Asus Transformer Prime, I'm going to make a go of this and see if I can enjoy video making. And from that point on I was absolutely hooked. So there was no inspiration there other than my own inspiration, and that's kind of how I've always been. As I say, I'm a creative person, and I always need just that first trigger, and then I'm off and running, and I can't stop making more videos. Mohammed does ask another question. What's the best thing you like about making these videos? Well, as I said, probably pretty much every aspect of it. I can't think of any particular area. I think probably the editing, because the raw footage is usually about 4 times the amount of what you actually see in the video. So a 1 minute hints and tips tutorial will probably come from about 4 minutes of video, but I love just splicing it down and really fine-tuning the editing. You probably don't really see this in the editing because I like to think that it's seamless, but there's a lot of effort that goes into those transitions that get from one point to the other without any dead time or any dead space, and Windows Movie Maker is excellent for doing that, and that's possibly the part that I most enjoy doing. Maybe a bit of a boring answer for you, but that's really where I found my, I suppose, the area which I most enjoy doing. The next question is from Sahil Chauhan, and he asks, who are your favourite YouTube tech reviewers? Now, there's a bit of an admission here. I put in so much time and effort, and I spend most of my spare time doing the videos, but I very rarely have a chance to actually look at other people's work, which I know is a fatal error and mistake, because when I do get the chance to look at other people's videos, I think, oh, I like that technique, I might do that, or that's an interesting tip, maybe I can change that and turn it into something interesting on my channel. When I do get a chance to look at videos, the ones that I watch more often than not are Cold Fuston. He does tech videos, an Australian, but he does it in a very stylised way. It's fantastic work, and he did a recent video on the birth of a computer, which is well worth watching because it's like a documentary you watch on the BBC. Far better than anything I've ever done, so he's one I watch. There is somebody called Dave O'Mac Geekanoids, who's a British reviewer, and I find him very interesting because he has a very good presentation style. But other than that, Lamar Wilson I sometimes watch. He has some comedy in most of his videos. I just don't have the time to invest in watching other people's videos, but that's one thing I'm doing at the moment. I'm trying to spend my weekends putting more research and investment time into the channel outside of doing the videos. So thanks for the questions. The next question is from Adam, and he asks, my question is, how do you pick which apps to review and why the Nexus 7? Well, there's 2 reasons I choose particular apps. First of all, any apps that I come across which I find useful and I think would benefit you, the viewers, I do a video on. I decided not to do app reviews which gave negative opinions on apps, because there's no point in slating an application because you just won't download it. I'm more about giving you the best applications you can use to enhance your tablet or smartphone. The second reason is I make app reviews and then I approach the developer and ask if they want to host the video on their Google Play page, because it gives them a bit of exposure from an amateur but well done video, and it also gives me exposure because more people will sort of see the videos and see likes. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. It's kind of like a bit of collaboration, and it works for us both. it works for both me and a developer. I don't charge any money, I'm just looking for the exposure for all the videos. The next question comes from Johnny Bowes, and sorry Adam, you did ask about the Nexus 7, but this kind of ties in with it. Johnny Bowes asks, how did you find going from a 10-inch tablet to a 7-inch tablet? Well, I found it absolutely fantastic, Johnny, because I realised quite soon after using tablets, when I was using the iPad mini, that a sort of a 10-inch tablet, this is a HT touchpad by the way, is too big for reading, and I do a lot of my consumption on tablets is reading, whether it be websites, applications, or reading books. I read a lot of books on my Nexus 7 through the Kindle, and of course it's a book size, it's lightweight, it has all your books on, so it's absolutely perfect. I suppose the question you might ask is, well, why don't you just use a Kindle? Well, the other reason I use a 7-inch tablet, and unfortunately I haven't got one with me, I kind of have to use a box here, is that with a 7-inch tablet it's very good for playing games because your thumb has total coverage of the screen, whereas on a 10-inch tablet you don't have complete coverage of the screen, so you have to hold it with one hand and maybe tap like that. And I think 7-inch tablets are much more agile and mobile and just absolutely ideal for my needs. I'm not saying that a 7-inch tablet is for everyone's needs, but that's my personal opinion. Two people asked, I can't remember their names, but two people asked, what does VGJFelix stand for? So time to actually reveal the answer to this. And it's a bit of a boring answer, this. VGJ stands for Video Gamers Journal. And you may be wondering, what has that got to do with what I do now? Well, when I first started going on the internet as a wee young whippersnapper of my teenage years, going back into the late 1990s, I wanted a handle, like a gamer name or something like that. And I called myself Metal Gear Rob for about a month, decided that wasn't very good. So I chose the word Felix because it was kind of a cool sounding name, but it also sounded acceptable in the real world. And then the Video Gamers Journal bit came from, I started a video game website called Video Gamers Journal. You may be able to find evidence of it somewhere still on the internet. So that's where Video Gamers Journal comes from, and I've just stuck with the name ever since. And I'm, I suppose, a bit stuck with it at the moment. If you can think of another way to use VGJ in terms of tablet and technology reviews, then fantastic, let me know. I can't really think of any ideas, but yeah, a bit of a stumper, that one. Okay, the final question, and the winner of this plushie doll is Mighty Source 3 asks the following question. If you could pick one thing from smartphones or tablets for manufacturers to improve on, what would it be? I'll answer the question and then I'll tell you why I think it was the best question. Well, there are a couple of things I think tablets could and technology could improve on, so it's not going to be a one-word answer. First of all, I'm fed up of all the phones and the tablets having speakers on the back of a tablet because it projects away from the listener. The HTC One has done speakers on the front, and a few other tablets have, so speakers on the front please, but that's not my one bugbear. I suppose the biggest bugbear for me and many other people is that in terms of technology, tablets and smartphones have advanced so far in every respect bar one, which is battery life, which has regressed a lot. If you go back to the Nokia 5110s, was it, or the bricks, you could have a battery life of many days out of them. I guess it's because you didn't use them that much, so we're always on standby. So battery life would be a fantastic thing to improve, and my thought is, and I don't know if this is happening or not, this is just VGJFelix thinking worldly here, is that if you could have a kinetic rechargeable battery, that would suit mobile phones perfect, because obviously you're walking about quite a bit with your phones, or you're moving about in your hands, so there's quite a bit of movement in there. So a phone that could recharge kinetically would be very handy. Phones need to last 3 days really. 1 day on charge is fine if you're just going about your day-to-day business, but as soon as you go travelling or something, they tend to only last half a day, and that's just not really enough. unless you have a spare battery or something. So that's the one thing that I think I would like to see improved. I can't think of anything off the top of my head in terms of technology. I think they've come so far in the last 3 years. I mean, the tablet explosion, if you just think about 3.5 years ago, the iPad didn't exist, and just imagine what, well, you can see what the market is like now. It's completely transformed the way we consume media, really, and it's probably going to usurp the laptops and the computers very soon. So that was the best question, and I'll tell you why it was the best question, because it was a thought-provoking question which got me thinking and has given me ideas for videos. So Mighty Source's question I'm going to throw right back at you people and say, if you could pick one thing from the smartphone or tablet market that you would like manufacturers to improve on, then what would it be? Let's get some comments going, some generation in the comments section, and maybe we can get some good discussion going. So that is your first Q&A. Mighty Source 3, I will be in touch very soon to give you one of these Android Plushies, and as an incentive, the best answer to making an improvement on a tablet device will win another plushie, because I have 12 of these to give away. Hope you found that enjoyable. I do apologise this has gone on for quite a long time. I've rambled as usual, but hey ho, what do you know. See you again soon in another VGJFelix video. Please like and subscribe and share the video with all your friends, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers everyone.